I did it again. All right. Welcome to Raleigh's Military Transition again. You just saw me for the last 2.5 minutes doing my intro, but we'll redo the intro. Welcome to Raleigh's Military Transition. I'm Rob. How are we doing this evening? Hey, I'm happy that you're here. I'm sorry I'm having some technical difficulties. I have some software that allows me to share screens and stuff, and it failed again. So I got to really try this out, do an unpublished video to see what the heck is going on because it's not giving me the tools I need to help you guys be successful in your transition out of service. So I apologize for that, but we are here. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you there. What's your name? I don't understand symbols, but I appreciate you being here. And thank you for letting me know about the mic. That's really important. That's kind of embarrassing. So I appreciate you. But today, once again, I'm going to, if I don't generate questions in the chat and we don't have enough people participating, then I'm going to start talking about separating out of the United States Air Force and the United States Space Force and how to go about doing that. I'm a very visual person, and I'm sure you guys are too. That's why you're on YouTube. So I apologize that I can't physically show you the items. There will be videos on this topic in the future. To include this video, just follow it. I'll leave links in the description on how to do everything that I'm discussing today. So, yes, that's where we are. That's where we sit at this moment. Excuse me for, I'm still recovering out of being sick all these days. So I apologize. Um, but yeah, so I talked to a guardian today. I really was starting to question him because he's like, "Hey, man, how do I go about getting on the commander schedule that I can talk skill bridge?" I'm like, "You're talking skill bridge, but you haven't talked to me, and I don't know if you talked to the NPF yet." Luckily, he had gone through TAP, and that's how he knew about skill bridge and what it's about. So TAP is a great resource. But even when I was talking to this guardian, he's like, it's like turning on the faucet on full blast and hope that you catch some of it because they condense so much stuff into such a little bit of time that you're just like, this is a lot to remember. How am I going to do this? I don't even know how to apply for separation. I know I need to apply, but I don't know how. So I began to walk him through that process. Um, it's quite complicated right now because they're still standing up the MyFSS page. So it's still a little bit lost. And then Space Force got thrown into the mix. So now Space Force, Air Force do the similar stuff, but they're trying to be their own identity eventually. But some things still lean on the Air Force a lot. So I can talk smartly to this video. So I got him in the right direction. Basically, you need to go into MyFSS and you need to go into the search knowledge articles search section and type in initiate my DOS separation. Once you do that, it's going to take you to a page and an article that goes over, hey, when are you eligible? You can apply up to 140 days prior to your ETS or DOS. And to submit a request, they want you to utilize, let me bring this over and cover my face. I'm just making sure I'm talking to the camera instead of talking sideways because I don't want to talk sideways because I know generally I know what I'm talking about, but I'm a resource guy. I know where to go and get these resources that I can get you guys in the right direction. I don't know in the other services, so that's what our Discord page is. We'll talk about that later down the road. But 240 days out prior to your ETS or DOS, you can submit a request for your initial to initiate your DOS separation um, by hitting the create a request button at the bottom of this article. So the article that I'm telling you guys to go search in my FSS, initiate my DOS separation, find that article, click on the create a request. Okay. And then members must include the following in the subject line. Uh, projected separation date. So the day that what your DOS is on your records, not when your terminal leave date is, not when your permissive is. This is the day that you're no kidding out of service. You're done. Okay. Put projected separation in whatever that date is. So if that date's at the end of this month, you're going to put 30 August 2024. There you go. That's your date. Okay. The date must match their contra- contractical DOS. So, like I said, basically what you signed up for. Okay. So you can get that off of your DD Form 4 for reenlistments and your 11. What the form number is right off the top of my head, but your extension paperwork, it'll give you your new DOS. And once again, if you go into your records review RIP and VMPF, it'll also give you your DOS. Member needs to include the projected departure date. So that's when you include everything else, your permissive, your terminal leave, and that's it. So the permissive will be skill bridge if you decide to take skill bridge if you're separating. If you're separating service, you don't get permissive for house hunting and job search, but you do get permissive TDY for skill bridge. So keep that in mind. During the skill bridge program, if you're going to jump into that, I don't want to make this about skill bridge, even though we can, because this is a live chat. To do skill bridge, they want you to take your any terminal leave, any permissive TDY, all in the same 180 days. They don't want you piggybacking your extra leave on top of that. But if you got a nice command and talk to them, they may have other leave solutions that they can do for you. Wink, wink, foot stomp. Go talk to them, see what they can do for you. But terminal and permissive have to be together, and they have to be in that 180-day window. Give me one second. Applying for disability. Wait, on applying for disability, let us know what the keyword to use for our first assessments and how the letters from friends and family are necessary for the medical evaluation. Yes, good point, subscriber. So I did do a series of videos. One is pre-separation, what to do to file your BDD claim, your benefits before discharge claim, um, and then what you need to do for your CMP exams and how to prep for those. But we can talk a little bit about that as well. I'm not just blowing you off here. I'm just saying that the videos are out there letting you know what content's on the channel, and then we'll go over it briefly in here as well. So, and then I told you, well, basically, I made another video of what you should be doing while you're waiting around for results from your CMP exams and getting your actual VA rating. Because as new separatees, everything is service connected up to a year after your date of separation. So anything that's still happening to you for that first year, you can still claim, and you do not need to have proof that it happened on service because it's still considered part of service, if that makes sense. So um, I'll do a quick Reader's Digest of all three videos. Basically, I tell you guys, we claim mental health. You can claim every medical condition that's happened to you through service. So mental health is big. Yes, you can claim mental health. It covers mental health, everything like PTSD, anxiety, depression. If you have any of that, you need to get seen, which goes into definitely what I'm telling you here on the BDD process and how all that stuff starts. When you're separating from service, you need to start prepping 1 to 2 years early, because throughout your whole military career, you're told don't go to mental health. It could be a career ender. You could make you change jobs, or you get medically boarded and you get kicked out of service. So 1 to 2 years, when you need to take care of the most important person, which is you, that's when you need to start being seen for all your medical conditions, man, because we haven't been keeping track of our medical conditions throughout our career. We might go for onesie twosie things like, oh, I twisted my ankle and I sprained it, or oh, I broke my ankle while doing burpees on the field or whatever it is, and or I threw out my back. Like you're gonna go for that stuff because it's instant pain and you're getting hurt. But what your VA claim is about, it's about everything that's happened to you and what's still hurting and what you ignored and what you didn't do, including mental health. Thank you. Which everyone's scared to go to mental health. Luckily, we're in a day and age where everyone accepts mental health, so people are starting to go more often. Sometimes even during the middle of service. When I was taking mental health classes when I was at my last duty station at Yokota Air Base, we had young airmen in there that just couldn't deal with the stressors of military life, and they were going through all this stuff. So instead of being on the record, they had these courses where you can learn anger management. You can learn um, coping skills for the job work environment and so on. There's tools out there to help you be successful in the job that you're currently in. But mental health is definitely big. Don't hide it. I had a friend that's still out at Yokota, and he was like, "Dude, when should I like go get seen?" I'm like, "Go get seen now, dude. You're jacked up." He went on a deployment. He was in Afghanistan at Bagram, and they were getting blown the hell up, you know. And he came back. They made him do his post medical screening and all that stuff, but he's still nervous about going in and getting seen because it's like, but he's having nightmares, he's having problems, he's having a hard time. And I'm like, dude, just go get seen, dude. That's your health. And of course, I tell him that now that I'm out of service, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, the military is going to go away one day. They're not going to support you. That's the reason I'm making this channel because they don't dedicate resources to get you out of service, and it pisses me off. Um, you 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 give them whatever that time track contract is, right? You gave them 4 years. I gave them 24 years. But at the end of the day, oh, we gave you tap. Now go do your final out and give us our paperwork and get the hell out. They don't tell you anything else, man. They don't tell you that skill bridge might not come through. Skill bridge might not come through. I took skill bridge. I did a third party. I went through hiring our heroes, and they farm you out to organizations. I won't tell you the organization I went to, but they're like, "Yeah, we'll make you a, a project manager," and you're like, "Oh, great!" And they teach you that how to become a project manager, and then you like go above and beyond and try to help them, and then next thing you know, they're like, "We didn't have a position for you, so good luck." And I'm 10 days out from separating from service, and I don't have a job. And I don't know if my retirement check's going to come on time. I don't know if my disability claim is going to come through and what the requirements are of that. I made a video. I made a video on that, guy. So, hey, eventually look at the link in the description after this live chat and I edit this video. Um, but that link tells you about that whole process and what I went through. Also goes into um, how long it takes you to get your disability claim. Basically, spoiler alert on that, 60 days. If you're separating, maybe 45 days because they don't pay partial months, they only pay full months. And I go through that whole process in my videos. So back to mental health, yes, for sure. You can file claims for mental health. I'm gonna walk you guys through a little bit of stuff here in a second. But let's go. Let's finish up for these separatees real quick. Um, Basically, you're gonna click on that create a request. You're gonna put in the subject line, the projected separation date, and then we are going to the member. Let me bring this back over. I'm not looking back and forth. I'm sorry. Um, Members need to include their projected departure date. So that's going to be the date that you start your skill bridge program. So make sure you jump into that. Um, if the members are separating at their higher tenure, they should include the individual ready reserve agreement found at the link. So I'll leave this link in the description. It's still going to make you log into my FSS, but it'll take you right to this article. Um, for appropriate separation pay. This indicate wait, this incident will be routed to AFPC separations to make the appropriate updates in MilPDS. Please allow 7 to 10 business days for processing. So that's basically how you initiate a DOS separation. So I will leave that link in the description and send it to you, and I will do a more detailed video. I might have to get a guardian or an airman to help me because when I try to click a request, this is only for active duty people, and I am a contractor now, so I don't have full access to everything to walk you guys through this process, which is really what I used to do in the active duty side. Is I would use my resources, right? In MilPDS, I would be able to find people's information that I could do their updates and do everything that they need to do. So yeah, so that's initiating separation. So disability claims, if that's what you're here for, and we're talking disability claims on the live chat, we will talk about that briefly. Start 1 to 2 years prior to your DOS. Don't wait until, oh, I'm going to apply for separation 4 months out and not know what the hell I'm doing with my life and not prep for the most important, valuable asset, which is you. You are the asset. You need to take care of yourself because the separation in the retirement process has been left up to the member to do. Um, Another thing that you're going to want to do on the My FSS page, excuse me, I'm so sorry. You want to look at the initial separations briefing. It's going to be it's a mandated requirement once you got an approved separation, but it's there for the taking at any time. So I recommend starting to read that crap now with respect. Okay. Read that stuff now because it's a lot of reading. It tells you how to get your 214, which is a video I'm going to be doing because we had a guardian that got out of service and he's like, the NPF's not working with me to get my 214. Well, guess what? The NPF doesn't work with you to get a 214. The 214 is generated by AFPC, and AFPC gives it to you via VMPF because you need a user ID and password to AFPC Secure that you can get into VMPF and get your 214. But if you don't read everything in the initial assignment brief, you're not going to know. Excuse me, I got to grab Snow. Okay. The princess has arrived. My dog Snow, she's here. She's scratching the door, so I had to go and get her. But those things are in the initial separation briefing. I'm going to pull that up just to tell you some things that are in there because there's a lot of important stuff. I think Social Security's in there. That they're in there because some of you might not get a job right away. Some of you might get dissed by SkillBridge, and they didn't have a position for you, so they're not going to give you a job, and now you're lost. Guess what you need? Unemployment. Social Security tab will tell you about unemployment. Certain people during separation, depending on the category of your separation, let's hope we don't have involuntary separatees here, but if you are, I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. But there's benefits for you. Sometimes that's a severance package. Sometimes that's additional 90 days of medical care. So TRICARE's on this initial assignment, initial separation. Um, the Air Force Reserve components there in case you decide, you know what, I don't want to be active duty full time. I want to be part timer. Go ahead and be a part timer. They'll walk you through the process. Common access card requirements is going to tell you what you need to do. For us retirees, they're going to issue us an ID card for 4 years, even though we might separate in three. But guess what? When you apply for retirement, you got to go in and get you and your family brand new ID cards with your new DOS once you got an approved retirement date, because they want your card to cancel as soon as you're done. Um, the dental counseling statements on here, congressional mandate for TAP. So it tells you the TAP requirements and that you need to go out and do that. Your 214 discharge review board. So if you're going through the medical board process, that link's on here that you can go through and study. I would recommend, even if you're not, go to all of these links, even if they might not apply to you or you might not think they apply to you, and just read everything, man. And if you find something informational, just hey, keep it. Household good shipments and extension requests. I should be looking at that link right now for myself. I gotta get all my household goods out of storage from 8 years of being overseas. I'm going through that process myself as we speak. The individual ready reserve. It's important. That's guaranteed. So if you're only doing 4 years of service, you're committed to another 4 year of inactive service that they can call you up at any time, right? So that's there, and it's going to tell you about it. Your medical and dental records is going to tell you the importance of all that stuff. Your medical examination, and I'm guessing they're going to be talking to you about your SHIPPY, which is I forgot what the acronym is, but it's basically, hey, what the hell have we done to you these last 4 to 24 years or however long you've been in service, right? Military pay, terminal leave, and permissive. It tells you how that works. It tells you what you're authorized to have and not have. For the longest, I thought retirees and separatees got job hunting and household hunting, because how the hell are you going to know where you're going to live, man? But come to find out, the only people that get house hunting and job hunting are people that are getting involuntarily separated from service. Kind of messed up. I think they need to reapproach that and relook at that and see what to do. Um, anyway, naturalization. I'll tell you about that. Overseas personnel only. Passport retrieval. Basically, as soon as you get to, like, if you're coming from overseas, you want to go to the nearest military installation once you're back in the States and turn in your passports, your official passports. Now, if you got personal passports, keep those, you're good. But if you got official passports that brought them overseas and gave you visas and all that good stuff, go ahead and turn those in, because you're done. Um, Tells you about your records review. Your records review is also going to be a requirement for your final out appointment. So make sure that you're doing your records review. That's where you go into VMPF and pull all your records and look at all the TUIs, make sure everything was captured. If you went overseas and it's not there, you better put it there, because at the end of the day, when they do your 214, if you didn't, you went to Iraq, but there's nothing showing you went to Iraq, you didn't go to Iraq. So make sure that you document everything that's in your records. Okay. If it's missing, find the paperwork, get it put in, talk to your commander support staff, your military personnel flight. For you other branches, I apologize. Your S1, whatever your personnel equivalent is, go to them with your source documents to get that stuff in your records. Okay. Very important, because that's how they generate your 214. The relocation process, it tells you how that works. Security termination statements. You're going to need that for your final out as well. You go to your security office and they're going to sign you out and take you out of the system, man. You're done. Your separation orders, you're going to need that for your final out as well. Make sure you have it. And so on. So this initial separation brief is huge. I'll leave a link in the description about this as well. Well, you know what? Let's save you some time, man. I'll just hopefully everyone can see these chats afterwards. But there's one. That's the one about the initial separation brief. Initiate. initiate my DOS separation. I'll put that in the description as well. Hey, so my one viewer, man, if you're still there, Joe and I got nobody at the moment, but do you got anything else? Did I cover enough about the mental health? Um, talked about letters of friends and family. Yeah, that's seriously important. I totally missed that. I apologize. Um, you want buddy letters, you want proof, anything, everything that's covered in your medical records, anything that's covered from family is very important to include with your VA claim process. So, like, um, I had an airman one time. She was my troop. Okay, um, she was very. I forgot what her situation was, but she was always like self-diagnosing herself and going to WebMD and saying, "Oh my God, like I must have this or I must have that," and "Oh God, is it good for my baby?" Like she was hypersensitive to anything medical related and was very paranoid and interfered with her work a lot and it started to bug things out a lot. So she reached out to me years later, man, and said, "Hey, do you mind writing a buddy letter for me, explaining what the heck I went through all those years and how paranoid I was about my baby getting sick and me getting sick and oh my God, am I eating right for my baby?" Like it was a mess, man. So I said, "Yeah, more than enough. I will write you something there, and then we will push it. I'll push it out to you. I'll have you review it, make sure everything's covered that you need it covered, because I do remember the situation. This also comes in good and handy when like you got migraines, and it interferes with work. You either go into a dark room and shut off all the lights and take your medication, hope it goes away. Like the CMP examiner wants to know those things, and the people reviewing your record want to know those things. They want to know how it jacked up your job, like how often did it happen? Like that's proof. Same with family. I explained mine in a previous video. My sleep apnea. Like my wife constantly said, "Hey, you're snoring a lot, and sometimes you stop breathing, and it's kind of scary. You might want to get checked out." And then I got checked out, took a sleep study, and next thing I know, I got obstructive sleep apnea. And they gave me a CPAP, and I had to wear that thing all the time. It's annoying, but it is what it is, and that's a high value item in your VA claim. And if my wife never told me that, I would have never had sleep apnea on my records. So, like, buddy letters are important. Um, I also went into one of those videos talking about DBQs and linking those DBQs to your CMP exam and why you're going in. DBQs are the answers to all your CMP exam questions that they're going to ask you when you go to your appointment. So you want to, once you filed your claim and you get your appointments, you want to look up the DBQs for each one of those appointments. DBQs, VA. And the VA shares this information. They're not hiding it from you. So it's not like you're trying to cheat the system, but they want to make sure that you're prepared for your very hopefully short CMP exam if you've given them all your information. So there's another link. This is the benefits.va at benefits.va.gov/compensation, and it brings you right to the public disability benefits questionnaires. If you have the answer to all the questions on the questionnaire, it's gold. Um, and it's very important that you link your DBQ to the VA rating schedule, because the VA rating schedule dictates what percentage you're going to get for your disability claim or for that ailment. Uh, I used I used an example in my video about I used headaches because there's a 10% for headaches, which is, oh, I have headaches and I take medicine. Here's 10%. But it's all about the frequency of the headache, how bad it is, how impaired it makes you. Does it make you stop working? Can you absolutely not work until that stuff is done? You have to talk about the severity and how often these things happen. So if you go to that link and you look at migraines, DBQ, and you look at the VA rating schedule, which I will link in the description again, well, as well, it'll show you the percentages. And then if you look at the verbiage on those DBQs, you're going to kind of get an idea of where your percentage is going to be based on what you're going to be telling that CMP examiner. So keep that in mind. So these are all useful links in the description that go through all that stuff, including mental health. I was extremely disappointed. Maybe I didn't prepare myself very well. Maybe it was a snowy day and the CMP examiner had a stick up her. Anywho, but I was claiming adjustment disorder, anxiety, and depression. But when I got my rating, they came back as what did it come back as? Hold on, I gotta let the dog out. Come on, son. There you go. The rating came back as 10% for insomnia, guys. 10% for insomnia. I didn't even claim insomnia. Yeah, I'm tired. And maybe I did claim it, but they didn't look at any of those other symptoms they had. They said they didn't have enough information. But yet, once I got my damn rating and went to mental health, oh, you got PTSD, you got depression, you got anxiety, and we got to work through this shit. So, yeah, needless to say, I was a little disappointed in my rating for mental health because the disappointment kind of fell on me because I knew about the DBQs. I thought I had enough already for it, but apparently I did. So, expectation management, you might not get what you asked for, um, and you might. You never know. I keep on seeing some people coming in and out. I don't know if that's the person in the chat or if it's somebody else, but what else you got for me? I'm giving you like half my channel so far of information. Um, I like to talk a little bit about my Discord page. Um, I'll put that in the description as well. But this Discord page is built for community. I really want to, what I envision is a one stop shop to help people find exactly what they're looking for when they want to find it. Okay. Make it as easy as possible to get the things they need. So I have an area on that Discord chat that talks about branch specific military transition. I put that there because I don't know everything, y'all. I know about Space Force, I know about Air Force. I don't know about the Army. I deploy with y'all, y'all crazy. But I don't know about the Army. I don't know about the Marines, the Navy. I don't know about you guys. Help me out. The Discord's there that you guys can provide information about your individual branches as well. Help your soldiers, help your Marines, help your Navy, help your seamen, your guardians. Everybody help each other. Let's go to the Discord page and let's like it and let's contribute to it. I am not from every state. What I've been doing, because I put one in there, VA benefits by state. I put that there, and my vision is that you could go there and get quick access, man, to everything that you need to know about for your state. So, like, I'm putting in individual threads of each state benefit. So I'm in Colorado, so I already started populating that one. For example, the title is, hey, if you're 100% PNT, property tax exemption is an option. It's not a very good one. This state does not do good with vets, but they give you something. So they give you 50% of the first $200,000 of your house tax free. So you won't find a house for $200,000 here. So it's not a huge deal. It's really a one fourth. It's 25% off of your taxes every year in the state of Colorado because you're lucky to find a house 400,000 and below. Everything is inflated here. It's ridiculous. It's the same story across the country, I'm sure. But that's how the subject line for each thread is. It's 100% PNT, your authorized property tax exemption. 50% PNT, disabled veteran vehicle tax. So I'm laying it out in my state just like that. So I'm hoping that people from other states that join us on this channel can do something similar, or do the same format for their state if they could. Right now for the states, I'm I'm going to YouTube. I'm finding uh I found this one lady, she's doing one for each state that dives into each individual one, and I'm just plugging the video in there for now. That should help you at least get started in finding the stuff for your individual state. But I'm doing that for you guys. I also put in the VA claims process. Right now, I believe the one that I have in here, useful links for VA claim prep, I put in there, VSO preparation. I put everything in there that you need to do to prep to go talk to your VSO. I wrote it toward the veteran, but for you active duty people, it's the same way, man. Um, Except you're being proactive, you're doing it before you separate, and you're filing your BDD claim because if you don't, you're going to be waiting a long time for benefits. We got tons of people that are running into that issue now. What else you guys got going on? My friend just sent me a picture. He's got some black mold going on. That's kind of cool. I mean, that's terrible. I feel bad for him. He bought a lemon house, man. I give him a hard time all the time, but he's putting in the work and getting things done to his house, so I'm happy for it. I'm super happy for it. So shout out to you over there, if you know who you are. um, but yeah, so we talked a little bit about separation. So the 214 process, yes, user ID and password for AFPC Secure that you can get into VMPF and get your 214 right away. If not, bureaucracy has started your process. So be ready for a slow roll. Then you get your 214, and you can't do anything with your VA disability until you have a 214 at the end. You can file your claim, but they're not going to give you results until your 214 is submitted. I can go over my experience and why I feel that I'm able to help you guide in the proper direction for your VA claim, just based on experience, man. Call around, talk to VSOs, find out what ones are available, which ones actually pick up the phone and talk to those people, or which ones actually answer an email. Talk to those people. If they're answering your email or returning your call, you most likely got a good VSO. Um, so I came from overseas. A lot of people are like, you can file your claim while you're still over here. And I'm like, okay, what's that look like? And this looked like going from Yokota Air Base all the way to, what's the name of that darn Navy base? I had to go all the way to Yokosuka. It's like a 2 or 3 hour drive to go to Yokosuka for every single CMP exam. And if you know how many CMP exams you have, give you an idea. When I filed, I had 9 appointments. That would have been 9 trips to and from Yokosuka, and they aren't paying you travel expenses because you're still active duty. Um, so you would have been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then you have to hope that everything made it to the VA, that they can give you your VA claim. So I decided to wait. So how did that play out? So I did skill bridge and I did some terminal leave. So I got I was proactive, man. I did the 1 to 2 years prior and started documenting all my medical records. And then I started looking at VSOs in the state of Colorado and made contact with my VSO and say, hey, when can I schedule with you? I'm ready to go now. And she's like, no, 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 you got to chill out for a minute because we have to see you no earlier than 30 days out from your date of separation. So I'm like, okay, well, not your date of separation, but the date that you file. So you can only file up to 180 days prior. So I reached out to her on the 320 or 310th day and say, hey, I'm ready to schedule my appointment with you in February. Um, when can you do this? I'll be back in town February 2nd. And I had an appointment, I think, on February 7th. So I wasn't playing, y'all. I was getting off this jet lag plane. I was doing a couple of days in my house, and then I was right to this VSO. Before I had that appointment, I forward-loaded everything that she needed, man. Why make her job difficult by coming to the appointment with everything right then and there? Why not give it to them ahead of time that they have the time to look at your records and go through them? Find out what things that we're going to claim. Give them all the paperwork that they need, that when they file your claim, you can already have the dependents. If you're over 30%, you get more money in compensation for dependents. Uh, give her the stuff for your direct deposit. Give her the stuff for all your dependents. And just be ready, man. Set it up. I have all that information in the VSO prep on the Discord page. So I go into my appointment. No kidding. Only 10 minutes for that appointment because I was proactive. I sent all my medical and dental records to her via DoD Safe. I sent all my VA papers that need to be filled out for the claim ahead of time. I gave her a list of all the things that I knew I wanted to claim, which was like a list of 8 things. And then when I got there to sit down for my appointment, she's like, you got 23 things. 23 things. I only claimed 8. Yeah, but I found so much more. The more the merrier, man. The worst the VA could say is you don't have enough data. And no, this isn't service connected. Or it's service connected, but here's 0% because you don't have enough to claim compensation. So I had 23 things. Then we submit it to the VA. No kidding, probably within 72 hours, there was a knock on the door. Hey, FedEx, how you doing today? I got you a package. Like, I didn't order anything. What the fuck? And it was a FedEx package with 9 envelopes inside of it. Those 9 envelopes were CMP exams that I had to go to, and they're spread out within the next 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, fat. I don't have a job, so I guess I got time. So I started getting ready for my CMP exams. I grab the DBQs, look at them, kind of gauge where I want my ready to go, and prepare for those CMP exams. Um, so I prepped. I went to all my exams. I left the mental health one knowing that I got screwed. I was pissed. And sure enough, when the ratings came back, 10% insomnia. Oh, I'm tired. No, it's more than tired. There's a reason I'm tired. Anyway, um, so CMP exams, did the prep, came back. It's a waiting game, guys. Like I said, until you have a 214, they are not going to give you a rating, even though the title of your early separation claims process is benefits before discharge. Well, Space Force and the Air Force don't like to give you your 214 until the last damn day that you're in service. And midnight. So you're waiting. You're not going to get it right away. So don't bug them on the status of your stuff unless you're like, I think the Army, Navy, and Marines, they do give you 214 like right away as soon as you leave the base. But if you're in the Air Force, don't bug them because you're not going to get your rating because they want to see that honorable discharge. What condition? So if you're Air Force and Space Force, man, just lay back, drink a pina colada, rum and coke, drink something while you're chilling, trying to figure out what your rating is going to be. And stand here at the computer on the 31st of the month, wait for midnight, click the button, click, 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 and be like, a 214. Okay. And then you download it right away, and then you log into the VA website, and then you download it on your attachment to your claim. And then, no kidding, guys, and it might be different for y'all, but within 1 to 2 days, man, I had my rating. So I was excited. I'm like, "Ooh, cool! I got this rating." I'm not gonna share that with you guys. I'm not crazy, but I got my rating, and I'm like, "Okay, cool. When do I get paid, man? Because I got to pay the bills." They give you a payday. It's in another video. So I'm just gonna wrap up with my story. I guess we got 10 more minutes. Um, so they give you a pay date, man. Mine, I think, was pay date 1 September. And the reason why it's 1 September, even though all your ratings were 1 August when they were approved, they don't pay partial months and they consider the first of the month a partial month. So for retirees, it's a big FU from the government because you separate at the end of the month and you start civilian life on the first of the month. So you're screwed out of the first 30 days of your compensation because they don't pay partial months. That's correct. And they pay in the arrears. So 1 September, you got to earn all the way to 30 September and you'll get paid on 1 October in my example. So, hey, you're sick and hurt on 1 August. Your payday is 1 September. You got to serve 30 days. I got to get used to pointing at this camera. 30 days, and then you'll get your paycheck. So 60 days. Separatees is going to look a little bit different for you because you guys, partial month might be only 2 days. Don't know. So, like, if we use this month, for example, right? Maybe your date of separation is 28 August. And your payday is going to be 1 September. So you only have to wait like 33 days to get your first paycheck. So that's kind of how the VA process works. That's where I say expectation management, keep it there. I made a video about what to do while you're still waiting for your VA rating. As I told you, you're service connected up to 1 year past your date of separation. So you shouldn't be sitting around waiting for your rating in case you still got medical conditions that you haven't claimed. Still go to the hospital for that thing that you forgot to go get seen for because you're still sick. Maybe you got used to your ears ringing and you you didn't freaking go to ear, nose, throat, whatever it is, to go get seen to get your ears checked out, that's something you should be doing right now. Or you should be looking at those two things that you got going on that maybe are service connected. Maybe you got bashed in the face during a work incident and it cracked your tooth, and now that's service connected. Get seen for everything that you do that last year. Don't just sit around and wait for your VA rating. Keep on being seen because that is considered service connected for the first year that you are out of service. Because you're going to notice more now that you're less stressed and not grinding every single day. Get seen for everything that you are done. There's tons of benefits that come with the VA, man, depending on your VA rating. Keep that in mind. I have my family members using my Chapter 35, which is a benefit that you get with a certain VA rating, which we'll learn in future videos. I'll tell you later. I don't want to tell you right now until I have to. But it's an extra siphon for school. So if you're attending and you're a full-time student, you get an extra $1,500. Well, depending on the year and COLA increases, it could be more or less. But you get extra money for school. So if you're already, you can't double dip. So if you're already doing GI Bill, you can't get the Chapter 35 on top of the GI Bill. Once your GI Bill is depleted and you're no longer using it, you can use Chapter 35 as a family member of a disabled veteran. There's programs out there that if your disability deems you unfit for the job that you previously had, they can put you in vocational rehab and teach you other jobs that you can be marketable in other career fields. They have medical care. If you're, I have to double check all the medical stuff, but I know full fledged that you can be medically seen for anything at 50%. But I believe if you're below 50%, you can be seen for the things that you're service connected for. But your priority group is going to be different depending on your rating with the VA. So top tier, you're in group one. So like if you're 100%, you're in group one. And we can talk about that in a future thing too. Like I said, I don't want this channel to become the VA catch-all. Let me give you everything about the VA. I want to help you get you through your first claim because at that point, I don't know much more on how to do supplementals and how to get Nexus letters and stuff to get you to the next step because I haven't lived that. I fared well with the VA and I don't want to fight them right now for anything else because I'm getting everything I need from them currently. So I'm not a good resource when it comes to filing additional VA items after your initial claim. I really want this site to take care of guardians, airmen, seamen, Marines, soldiers. I want you guys to transition out smoothly. I want you to get the information that your base is willing to give you right away and make you go search for it. I would like to start in my own squadron, catching all my guardians a year out from separation on the enlisted side, or even the officer side. I'll help them too. But get them started down the correct path of separation and retirement ahead of time. Even if they're not thinking about separating and retiring, I want to talk to them to see where their mind's at. I don't want someone popping up at my desk 4 months out and saying, "Yeah, actually, the worst one I had was 1 month out saying, I'm separating." And it's like, did you apply for separation, bro? No, I didn't. I didn't know I needed to. Well, that's your first screw up, and it's not going to be comfortable for you getting out. you probably want to extend for personal reasons or something and buy yourself a little bit more time. But they didn't know. But you don't know what you don't know, so I can't be mad at that guardian. We are not doing a service to our services members if we're not helping them get out. TAP is not the catch all for everything. You need to know how to out process your base. You need to know that you have a checklist to out process your base. You need to know that you can file a VA claim, but it takes time. Because I don't know about y'all, but every penny counts. I don't know about y'all, but last time I checked, insurance outside in the civilian world is expensive as shit. We'll just leave it like that. It's expensive. You're paying just $600 a month to have the insurance. That's before you even do copays. That's before you even pay for prescription drugs. But if you have disability rating and you're rated well, you're going to get free prescriptions. You're going to get free health care. And if you're really good and you get 100% for you people that are separating, you get Champ VA, which means your family is taken care of too through health care for free. I think there's still co-pays, but you get overall free care. So I'll leave you with that today. I hope you guys have learned something on this live chat. I talked about the disability claims process. I walked you guys through how to separate service. Told you that there's going to be a more detailed video later coming down. I gave you all these useful links. Guys, please download all these useful links that are helpful for you. It tells you, it gives you the separation, how to, it gives you the initial separation brief. It gives you the DBQs I was telling you about that you link up against the scheduler, the VA scheduler, and the Discord page. The Discord page, you'll get me in the community more often than you will on these live chats. So go out there, ask questions. If I missed something that you wanted to cover in this topic, go on over there, man. And I appreciate everybody coming out. I see people been coming in and out of the stream, so I appreciate everybody for participating. I'll have a detailed descriptive video coming out next week for how to obtain your 214 and hopefully advertise with a short if I can get to it. I'm getting back in the swing of things. I still got some two things going on that I'm fighting with, working with the VA to get things properly funded that I can get things done. So I may be in and out of pocket depending on the condition I am in, but I'm going to try my hardest to put out two videos, one short, one longer video about how to obtain your 214 next month, or your 214 after service. I'm going to walk you guys through the whole process. I'm going to do a more detailed video later on down the road about how to separate service and how to retire from service on the Air Force and Space Force side. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you. Leave likes, subscribe, bring friends, because this is all valuable information. I'm sorry. Once I work out these technical difficulties, I'll be able to put stuff right on the screen and help you guys out right away if you guys are more visual instead of looking at this face. But it is what it is. Again, I'm glad I was able to get on almost on time today. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out. Like, subscribe, and bring your friends along, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.